Narad Bhakti Darshan, we had completed till sutra number 34. Tasya sadhanani gayantyacharya, that the acharyas have told various ways of doing sadhana. So now, how to do sadhan bhakti, by which the heart will be cleansed and the vessel will be prepared for siddha bhakti, or the divine power of God to be bestowed. That vitally important question is being described in the next few sutras. So, sutra number 35, tattu vishayatyagat sangatyagachcha. He says, in order to do bhakti, you renounce the objects of the senses. We are using all our time and energy in finding the happiness of the senses. There was once a Russian scientist who conducted an experiment. He built a mouse trap with 2 terminals or switches on it and put a mouse inside. If the mouse touched the first switch, he would get a piece of bread. If he touched the second switch, he would get an electric shock. So the mouse by accident touched the first one, by accident touched the second one. Now when it started repeating, that little intellect of the mouse realized that you are supposed to touch this to get the reward, and beware of touching this. So it would conveniently touch that first switch and get its piece of bread. Now when the scientist realized that the mouse has learned this much, he reversed the switches. Now if this mouse would touch this switch, it would get an electric shock, and if it would touch the second switch, it would get the piece of bread. So initially the mouse became confused. I was getting bread, now I am getting a shock. But slowly it again learned, no, this is the one you are supposed to touch for the bread and avoid this one. When the mouse learned that much, the scientist again reversed the switches. Now he continued reversing the switches until the mouse became totally confused. I was getting bread, I am getting a shock. I was getting a shock, I am getting bread. At that stage, the scientist, he opened the mouse trap. You are free. If you wish to run for your freedom, you have the option. But the mouse was so enchanted by this business of changing switches that it had no desire for its freedom. It rather stay here and decipher this. Like that mouse in the mouse trap, we are stuck in this material realm, bound by the material energy, looking for happiness. I'll get happiness from cigarettes, oh, but I got TB. I'll get happiness from rasgulla, but I've got diabetes. So it goes on and on and on. We keep searching for happiness, and instead we get distress. In the Bhagavatam, Vidurji had said, Sukhaya karmani karoti loko natai sukham vanyaduparamam va. He says, everybody is looking for happiness, but the fact is they are all getting distress. So if somebody can decide strongly that I do want happiness, And the desire for happiness is not wrong. It's not an illegitimate desire. Why do you want happiness? Oh, what's gone wrong with you? This desire for happiness is as natural to the soul as the quality of heat is to the fire. Because the soul is a part of the ocean of happiness which is God. So it can never do away with the desire for happiness, but it needs to decide firmly that the happiness I want is not in the world. Only then we will be able to do bhakti. Because bhakti or devotion means attaching the mind to God. And you will be able to attach the mind to God when your intellect is firm in this decision. God is mine, not the world. This intellect is the one that controls the mind. The intellect decides, and accordingly the mind desires. The intellect decided that happiness is in watching that basketball game. Now the mind desires basketball. The intellect decides happiness is in eating a rasgulla. Now the mind desires rasgulla. So without your realizing, your internal machinery is working in this way. The intellect is ruling the mind. You think your mind is out of control? We had one question also in that regard. The fact is that the mind is not out of control. The mind is in your control. Have you ever got angry and shouted at your boss? Have you ever got angry and shouted at your boss? Definitely you got angry many times, but your intellect controlled the mind. No, this is not a safe place to get angry. Keep quiet. But he's abusing and insulting me like that. It's all right, but if you shout, you lose your job. You control the mind. And then you took out all your anger on the wife or the husband. Because it's safe there, you can say anything, it doesn't matter. You see, anger always flows downwards. Have you ever noticed? You'll get angry on the wife and the children, but never on the boss. Why? The mind is controlled by the intellect. So, everybody's mind is actually under the control of the intellect. Right now you're sitting like this. Does your mind enjoy it? When you go into your room, how do you sit? Oh, we sit with a leg up there. So why don't you sit like that out here? The intellect says it's not the done thing. Throughout the day, we are controlling the mind with the intellect. Now the problem is this intellect is not illumined with good knowledge. Shri Krishna says, Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam taya paharita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidyate. 44th verse of the 2nd chapter. If somebody's intellect is many-branched, then the firm resolve to engage in devotion does not come about. In order to engage in devotion, you need a single mind, single branched intellect. An intellect that tells you, God is my goal. My endeavor should be to realize, to attain Him. The world is not mine. I will have to leave it one day. Nobody got happiness here, neither Bill Gates nor Warren Buffett. This intellect, if it becomes in this manner unidirectional, then you will go towards your target like a bullet. That's why again Sri Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi rekeha kurunandana bahushakha hanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. 42nd verse of the second chapter. Arjun, somebody whose buddhi is vyavasayatmik, single directional, that person goes like a bullet to the goal. Like, Kripaluji Maharaj has an ashram in Masuri. So in Masuri, they sometimes have these rose flower competitions. And there was one gardener who would always win with the biggest rose. So I asked him, how is it that each time you get the biggest rose? He said, I chop off all the other branches. So all the juice from the ground is going straight to that rose. And it's becoming big, strong, healthy. So I said, oh, Simil, you are doing exactly what Sri Krishna is telling us to do in the Gita. That you make your intellectual decision firm. And if the decision is, there is happiness in God, but really there's happiness in the world also, then it will be like there was this fellow, he was attached to hookah. Have you heard of the hookah? A few years earlier it was more common. Now it's becoming outdated. So the hookah was this kind of a smoking contraption. And people do good. Even now in the villages, sometimes you find people smoking the hookah if you go into the hills, Kashmir and all. So there was this disciple, he was following the sadhana given by his guru, but he had this weakness for the hookah. So Guruji was about to leave his body. The disciple said, Guruji, you are going to leave your body and go to Golok. What will happen to me? Guruji said, Beta, whatever karmas you have done, you will get the result accordingly. Guruji, can I catch Singhasan and go along with you to Golok? Guruji said, that is all right, but you will not be able to remain there. He said, let me try. So the Singhasan, the special chair, came for Guruji to go to the abode of God, and this disciple got the chair and went along with him. Now out there, Yamraj sent his Yamduts. Yamraj is the god of death. He said, this fellow, he has escaped death, let's get him back. So he told the Yamduts that you go there and you start drinking the hookah. So Guruji was sitting in his hut and the disciple was sitting at his feet. So he was telling Guruji, I have made it ultimately to the abode of God. And these Yamduts came and they stood outside the hut and started drinking hookah. He said, Guruji, they are drinking hookah there. Guruji said, quiet, now keep sitting here. Guruji, something is happening in my heart. Guruji said, don't get out of the hut. Guruji, I'll just take one puff and come back. He left the hut and the Yamduts took him away. So Narad ji is saying, vishayatyagat. Reject the objects of the senses, so that your mind becomes free and you can attach that mind to God. So decide with the intellect, the world is not mine, God is mine, and then give up these sense gratificatory objects. Sutra number 36. Avyavrita bhajanat. Now, how to do sadhana? He is giving the next point. He says, this sadhana or bhajan or spiritual practice must be done continuously. If you do for a little while, then leave it, then little while, then leave it, the temperature that had increased will again decrease. Like there is a wood, in Hindi it is called anal. So this anal wood, the quality is such that if you keep rubbing two of the twigs together, continue rubbing for half an hour, fire will come out. But the condition is that you must constantly keep rubbing. And if you rub a little and then leave, then again rub, then leave, then again rub, then leave, after every 10 minutes, that wood will get filed out. But fire will not come because the temperature which increased again decreased. That is why the condition is your sadhana must be continuous. See, we people do intermittent bhakti. Like in Christianity, the tradition is to do weekly devotion. You do devotion on Sunday. And we people go even beyond, we do half-yearly bhakti. Every Ram Navami and Janmashtami you go to the temple. But Sri Krishna is saying, Sarveshu kaleshu mahamanusmara. Every moment, this instruction has come again and again and again in the Bhagavad Gita. Ananyas chintayanto maham. Nirantar, continuous. Yo maham smarati nityashah. Tasyam sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. You have to become nitya abhiyukt. Nitya abhiyukt means that your mind should be constantly in God. Like, let us say somebody says, every day I earn $5,000. Really? So you must be a millionaire by now. No, I'm in debt. How is that? Every day I spend $10,000. So whatever he's earning is getting spent. Now if the spending was less, a little earning would have gone a long way. Similarly, we are engaging the mind in God, that is the earning. And we are taking the mind to the world, that is the spending. Now if you are thinking of God for 1 hour every day, and you are putting your mind in the world for 23 hours every day, your spending is more than the earning. It will not work.